Is this the best E-kit for your money ever? Today, I'm going to help you answer that question. In the next few minutes, I'll show you a full unboxing and feature review of the Yamaha DTX8M. And we'll go into how you can figure out whether this is the right kit for you, and then where you can buy this kit for yourself. Hint, hint, it's in the link below in the description of this video. Time codes for each segment are here. If you're looking for something specific, just skip right there. Okay, let's start unboxing. The kit is big. It comes in 4 boxes, 3 of which are really rather large. The small box contains the brain. You get a power cable and a screw plate plus screws to fix the brain to the rack. Then it's just the brain itself tucked under all that packing. And this brain is where the sound banks are stored, where you connect all the pads to, and where you can fiddle around with the settings, send your drums to another device via USB or MIDI. There's also some direct Cubase integration if you use Cubase, and a host of other fancy things. However, many people just want the drums to feel nice and make sound, which they also do. Speaking of the drums, this second box contained the drum pads. A huge innovation Yamaha made with their electronic kits. The pads look like real drums rather than boring rubber pads. On a practical side note, this makes these mesh drum skins much easier to adjust. And it also looks delicious. There are 2 types of drum pad provided, snare and tom-toms. Helpfully packed into this box are 3 drum mounts for the tom-toms. These are the slightly smaller drums with a mount fixed to them, so you can mount them onto the drum frame. The other drum pad is a specialised snare pad which has no mount fixed to it, as the snare is freestanding. Speaking of the tom-tom mounts, what do they join onto? This brings us to the rack. Previous versions of Yamaha kits would ship all the rods, poles and clamps for the rack separately, and you would have to self-assemble. Now actually, other companies still do this. Yamaha have jumped ahead of the game by delivering the rack pre-assembled, which is crazy, but also makes so much sense. The racks were often the fiddly parts where people got confused, all those clamps and rods and poles, and you assemble part of the frame but you miss the clamps, so you can't mount your cymbal now, and then you have to take the whole thing apart and take all the drums back off and take all this. Never again. Here it is, just out of the box. Everything's spaced just right, so the kit isn't slanting or sloping at all. All the clamps come kind of half tightened, so the rack is nice and pliable, and all you have to do is give the screws a full tighten once you've got the kit in position. Let's have a little look at it. Your tom mounts will go here, the brain will pop neatly over there, and your cymbal arms here. Speaking of the cymbal mounts, where are they? And where are the cymbals? Time for the 4th box. This box has the cymbal stands and everything else, all those miscellaneous bits and pieces. See here, this bag of cables and accompanying Velcro cable ties is packed on top. Put them to one side, as they'll be super important later. Then we've the snare stand for the freestanding snare. This is a nice touch from Yamaha. It makes the drum much easier to adjust and find your perfect height. You'll find many electronic kits below this level don't have that ability, as the drum is clamped to the rack and it makes the snare a massive pain to move around. It's also a specially sized snare stand, a little smaller than standard, so it fits this electronic snare drum perfectly. Finally, we get to our penultimate main feature, the cymbal pads. You get 3 types of cymbal pads, specialised for hi-hat, ride, and crash cymbal. Here you can see the hi-hat pad. This differs from the other pads because it has this squishy bottom. That sounded less filthy in my head. All I'm saying is, it's different because it has this squishy sensor area. That's what'll trigger when you stamp your foot on the hi-hat. And in the corner of the box you'll find 2 things, the bottom pad for the hi-hat and the mechanism to connect the cymbal to the hi-hat stand itself, the clutch. We also have a half stand for each cymbal, 3 in total. They're all essentially the same, fully extendable with a highly adjustable boom arm, meaning you can get the cymbals nice and close to you, even if you're a tiny person with tiny arms like me. And here's the crash cymbal. It's basically the same as the hi-hat, but without the squishy bottom pad. And it's also identical to the ride cymbal in every way, except that the ride cymbal is bigger, to make it feel more like a ride cymbal, which is a thoughtful touch from Yamaha. So that's it. Brain, drums, rack, cymbal... Hang on. What's that big box at the bottom? Yes, there was one drum not in the drum pad box, and here it is. So, we've got the pad unit here and the backrest, which comes separately. Then you've got a little bag of screws packed into the corner of the box for fixing the backrest to the pad. Don't miss those. And note the DTX8 doesn't come with a kick pedal as standard, although you can buy a complete bundle that has a kick pedal and other items like a seat, headphones, etc. from some retailers, and the links for those in the description below. The important thing to note, this pad is designed for use with a real kick pedal. It's not an E-trigger or foot switch or anything cheap and nasty like that. There may not be a kick pedal provided as standard, but there is a hi-hat stand. There it is. This is a normal hi-hat stand too, ported over from Yamaha's acoustic kits, which is great because it recreates the feel of playing a real drum kit. It feels like a hi-hat stand. Now all I need to do is put it together. Right. Where did all those things we just unboxed go? Where did I put them? Scene change. We're in one of my teaching spaces now. Let me show you the kit sounds, then we'll get into the features. But if you just want my personal review, skip to this timecode. This is the default kit sound, a deliciously sampled maple kit in a real studio, and it sounds good. You can hear it's remarkably responsive and you can play it really subtly. And faster rhythms involving transitions between single and double strokes work really well. And the cymbals, which are often the weakest part of an E kit, are very responsive and dynamic, which I love. And cymbal choke feature is great. There's a lot of nice detailing. We've bell sounds, tings, crashes, everything you could want, short of a real life cymbal, naturally. Almost like a normal kit. Now, let's briefly check out the other sounds. Oh, and here's a fun thing. Some of these preset sounds have direct links to effects. You can program your own, of course, but they come with some like this. By the way, if you're a heavier hitter and you're wondering, can this kit take a beating? The answer is yes. Okay, cut. 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 Cut! Somebody get him to shut the get into some features. You can see on the brain you have three main areas. You have a bunch of basic volume controls over here. You have the detailed menu settings in the middle, and you have the click controls here on the right. A great feature is that Yamaha have given individual volume controls to three different effects, the click and the master, so it makes it much easier to adjust. You don't have to fiddle around in complex settings in the menu just to turn the click down without turning the drums down. All of that stuff handled. The detailed menu settings we'll cover in a moment. But first, let's try out the click. A dedicated volume control for the click, a separate tempo control make this especially easy to use, perfect for working those rudiments. Now let's have a lightning fast tour around the detailed menu settings. These three buttons below the screen control whatever the screen menu currently says. For example, on the middle button here, you can see we've got something that says X stick, and that's your switch for a cross stick. So you can have a cross stick or a rim shot. Going down a level, here we have three main selection buttons: kit, training, and recorder. Let's explore the kit menu first. So for every drum, you can go in deeper and change individual settings. You can assign your own sounds, all of that. If you ever want to go that deep, hit the menu button. This takes you to the detailed settings, where you can change pretty much everything. Top of the menu, you can see there's this kit edit option, which allows adjustments to pretty much any pad. Trigger, which changes sensitivity and a whole lot more. Utility, it has that collection of things you'd never quite know where to find, but could be important. And Master EQ, where you can adjust the overall sound of the kit rather than the individual pads. And then headphone controls. Moving on, the training button reveals the usual demo songs everyone's come to know and love. And they sound a ton better now than they did when I was at school. We had those old Casio keyboard demos at my school. Leave me a comment if your school had one. So there are a few of those backing tracks. And moving across to the recorder button here, you can easily record yourself playing and store it on the kit for later. Incidentally, this is much easier than it is on many kits. Yamaha have done a huge amount of work in the last 5 years to make the most requested features incredibly simple to find. Done. Then hit the playback button. And there are your drums stored forevermore. And in the record settings, you can alter the speed and volume of your recordings, which is more detail than I would ever personally want. By hitting these buttons, you can access the kit's mixer, where you can change the volume of different kit elements and assign different effects to the master. So that's meaning your drums can be already mixed from the brain before you record out. And as I said earlier, there's a MIDI and USB port, a Cubase AI integration, but it'll work with any recording app. I use Reason, and that works for me. You just can't control your recording app from the Yamaha's brain, is all. And there you have it. But what did I think of the kit, and why? 5 main factors I use to judge an E-kit are: pads, what are they actually made of? Do they feel good to play? Foot pedals, are they physical hardware or are they remote? Cymbal arms, are they adjustable or are they fixed to the frame? The brain, are the sounds good? Is it easy to navigate around? And the frame, how durable is the kit? In fact, how durable is the whole kit overall? Can it take a good thrashing? And of course, you want all of those to be the best quality for the lowest price. Now actually, my review of this kit does start with the price. I just can't believe it's so cheap. If we look at their top tier kit, just in passing, glancing at these pictures, you'll see they look basically the same. So the question is, how did Yamaha make this kit about 2,000 less than their top tier kit? Where are the downgrades? When it comes to the pads, all of the pads in the DTX8 are Yamaha's top engineering, and you'd get exactly the same thing if you bought their top tier kit, which is amazing. All, that is, except one. One pad is a downgrade, and it's the kick pad. It's still really good. It's nice and bouncy, and it doesn't run away. It's very sturdy. We've got some hard hitters playing that kit in that room, and it's absolutely fine for them. Velcro strip on the bottom is a real help. We have a carpeted room, so that's perfect. However, the top tier DTX10 just has more features. It has a feature where you can adjust the feel of the pad depending on what sort of bass drum you would normally play. This DTX8 is really just a pad. It's sturdy, it's kind of bouncy, but there's not much you can do with it. It's just there. Having said that, that's all most people need. Then we've got the frame. Now don't get me wrong, the frame for the DTX8 is super strong, but if we just look at the frame for the DTX10, you can see metal clamps, potentially metal or silicone rods, whereas here on the DTX8 we have the black plastic look, which is not cheap plastic. Don't hear what I'm not saying. It's good, but it is a downgrade. And what else? Well, the last downgraded element is the brain. The thing that people seem to care about most with this is number of preset sounds. Honestly, that's not really my thing. I just want one kit sound. I just want to practice on it. I want it to feel like a real kit. I want it to sound good. But this brain does not have a whole load of presets. In fact, in my live demonstration, I basically played them all. But there's not nearly as many as you'd get with the DTX10. It's a very slimline interface. Let's just compare the layout here. You can see in the DTX10 module, there are important differences. Individual sliders for every kit element, a selection knob for each menu. You've got aux in and out levels. Only some of these are present with the DTX8. Components in the DTX10 have physical controls which make them super easy to get to, where on DTX8 you have to rootle around through the menu to find some of those things, as I showed you in my feature review. The summary there, the DTX8 brain, super solid, might be lacking some of those top tier features a real pro level player might want. So there are compromises, but honestly, I think the majority of us just want a kit that feels good to play and makes nice sound. And this delivers truckfuls of both of those things. Overall, it's a really great package from Yamaha, a cut price way to get a load of pro level gear with a few cutbacks from the top tier kit. Plus, the frame is super adjustable so you can move your cymbals to where's most comfortable. And as I teach on this kit, flexibility was crucial because I teach people of wildly different heights and body shapes. The big question now, is this kit for you? In my opinion, this kit's absolutely dominating the upper mid-range market. Yamaha say that this is the new definition of upper mid-range, but I actually don't think they're exaggerating. It's really good, and in upper mid-range price terms, it's cheap. And this kit will be great to learn on, great to practice on. It's obviously much quieter than an acoustic kit. Worth pointing out, I've tested the mesh head version. There is a textured silicone pad version. Those pads will be a little quieter, but I like the mesh because I believe there's a more natural feel there because they are real drum skins spread over a frame. There's a trade-off. It depends what you want. If you need it to be super quiet, maybe the silicone pads are for you. If you want a natural lower impact feel, the mesh heads are for you. And for those cramped city apartments, it's definitely space saving. It's not the smallest E-kit you can buy, but it will pack itself into a tiny corner if you really need it to. And to be honest, at this level, why would you really want to buy a smaller kit? They're just less realistic. If you're a beginner, this could be an excellent kit to start with. However, there are much cheaper kits that you could get. I've put links for those in the description below. Most people prefer to start there until they discover how much they really want to invest in playing the drums. But if you're a committed and determined drummer from the start, this could honestly be your best investment. Now, if you're a pro, maybe you gig, maybe you do shows, make money from this, you'll likely be tempted to go for the DTX10, the top tier stuff, just for those extra level features that Yamaha would give you. But anyone who's serious about their drumming, keen to save money where they can, but also wants an excellent kit to practice on and needs an E-kit for some reason, this is the best choice that I know. I highly recommend it. Like I say, I've been using it with my students for months now, and it has not missed a beat. Pun very much intended. Needless to say, my students also love it. It's a serious upgrade from the one we had before, which was also an upper mid-range kit. If you want to purchase this kit for yourself, or you just want to read more about it, I've left the links in the description below. My chosen retailer is Gear for Music. Their customer service is good, they ship pretty fast, they're international, they're just generally, I trust them basically. I wouldn't want to recommend you get from somewhere that I don't trust. So if you want this kit, those are the links to use, description below, and whatever kit you end up with, happiest of happy drumming to you. Thank you so much for your time. I've enjoyed hanging out with you today, and may your drums ever be loud, boisterous, and fun. Peace, till the next time.